Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I am here to do a close examination of the King James Bible. Um, it's a very important Bible to the Black Hebrew Israelite. Um, I am someone who used to be a part of this movement. However, I started seeing the cracks and things that just weren't making sense to me within this movement. Did some research, was able to debunk a lot of the things. Um, and so now my goal is just to spread the truth. Basically, everything that I say is not an opinion. It's not based off of emotion. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's all verifiable historical evidence. So let's get into it. I'm sure by this time everybody already knows who the Black Hebrew Israelites are. It's a common misconception that Black people are in the midst of something called the Great Awakening and that we're just now finding out that we're the true Israelites of the Bible. However, this is not true. This movement roots all the way back to the late 19th and 20th century. Um, there were already churches that were made in the name of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, especially in the 1800s. This is mostly because a lot of Black people in America they wanted a sense of identity. This gave them a sense of pride and purpose and belonging. So they weren't just solely slaves. They weren't just solely, you know, being reduced to being an animal or etc. Um, the origins of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, like I said, can be linked to a man named Frank Cherry alongside someone named William Sunder Crowdy. He's credited with the founding of the Church of God and Saints of Christ in the early 1900s. They set the stage for this movement. They're the ones who publicly endorsed the idea that Black people were the direct descendants of Israel. Um, Cherry, who was a former slave, started preaching in the late 1800s um, that Black people were the true Israelites. So this movement has been around for a long time. It's been brewing. We also had someone named Rabbi Wentworth Author Matthew. He comes from the 1930s. He founded the Commandment Keepers in Harlem, which is a group um, that kind of just states the importance of keeping the commandments and etc. So just wanted to break that out there. Um, Kind of give a rundown that this isn't a new group. This is something that has been around for a very long time. I feel like more people are finding out about it now because this was definitely something that has been controversial, really. I think now that we have the internet and we have like more platforms than ever before to get messages across, and now it's like more widespread. We even have celebrities that identify as being a Hebrew Israelite. So it's definitely not something that's a great awakening. It's not something that's like, oh, it's so set apart because it's very common for Black people to be Hebrew Israelites. We have celebrities like Kanye West, um, even Haitian celebrities like Kodak Black, um, that claim to be a part of this movement. So it's not anything super new. But let's get into it. So I think it's just very much common knowledge that Black Hebrew Israelite, they're not super fond of white people at all. They're not. And it's a little ironic because their book, which is the King James Version of the Bible, it's written by a white person. Now, this is a book, it's a Bible. It was translated in the 17th century by scholars that were commissioned by King James. King James just slapped on his name onto the Bible. He didn't even translate it. Other people did. And the Hebrew Israelites, they kind of just act like this book is just like the gold standard for scripture, right? but it's a book that's published under white European monarch. So you might be rolling your eyes thinking, oh my gosh, King James was black. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you. You've been lied to. So, for context, King James was born in 1566 to Mary, Queen of Scots, and Henry Stuart, Lord of Damley. Or is it Darnley? I'm so sorry. It is Darnley. So, he was born to two powerful European families who are historically proven to be Caucasian. And his claim to the throne of England stemmed from his descendant through his mother, Mary, who was the granddaughter of Henry of England. Okay? So, there's historical record that James had dark hair when he was a child, and dark eyes. But there is no historical record suggesting that he had African heritage or was black. One of the key pieces of evidence used to support the claim that King James was black is his supposed nickname, the Black Boy. So, a lot of Black Hebrew Israelites used this to claim that he was black. They have nothing else to claim other than this term. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, you sound stupid. Like, if they were calling him the Black Boy, that obviously means he was black. Well, we have to look through this at a historical lens, and I'm just going to take you back in time. So, the term black was used in the English language at this time, but not in the way that black is used today. There's historical evidence of Europeans who did not have blonde hair, pale skin, and blue eyes being referred to as black due to having black eyes and black hair. And King James is not immune to this historical fact. Now, it's kind of just like in today's society, like I've seen a lot of people being shocked to find out that when white people say, "Oh, I love tall, dark, and handsome men," that they're not, in fact, referring to a black guy. That when a white person says that they want someone that's tall, dark, and handsome, they're referring to a white guy that has dark hair. So this, it's almost like, like an evolution of like these terms, right? Because like I said, it's historical evidence that Europeans used the term black to refer to other white people that had black eyes and black hair. And I say black eyes, take that with a grain of salt. Obviously, nobody has black eyes, but that's how they refer to it. Okay. So in the late 16th to 17th century, the word black didn't carry any racial connotation like it does today. It was often used to describe physical traits such as dark hair, dark eyes, or a quote unquote swarthy complexion, and not to indicate race. White people in this time period used the term swarthy a lot, and swarthy translates into dark, but dark to white people does not mean the same thing as dark to black people. You can even have a non-black Hispanic refer to themselves as being dark, or saying that they are brown, when in fact their skin tone at best is just a tiny bit tan, and it's comparable to a tan white person, really. So we have to understand that dark means different things within you know different ethnic groups, different races, and etc. um but the term swarthy was used to describe white people that had tan skin. And I use tan skin with a very small grain of salt, because I have seen some white people, like, they get the slightest bit of tan and they swear that they changed a different race. Like, their perception of skin tone is very different than black people. Okay? So, again, many individuals of European descent were referred to as black due to their darker features, not in the sense how black is used in a modern sense. And this nickname came for King James, to refer to his appearance as a young child, due to him having hair that was very dark and him having a olive tone complexion. And such descriptions were common in this period, and the term black boy was simply a way to refer to his physical characteristics, not his ethnicity. Okay. So I can also put up some images here of depictions of King James. And I'm also going to put in some depictions of him as being black. And we're going to talk about that. The oldest depiction of King James is of a white man. So the depictions that you see of him as a black man are altered images made by Afrocentric groups. And historically, there's no reliable evidence that suggests that King James was black. There's none. Like I said, the oldest depiction that come of him were during his reign. There are some of him shortly after, but they remain consistent with his European ancestry. They remain consistent. And you might argue me, be like, oh, well, they did that because white was better. Well, that kind of goes against what a lot of people think. They think that at this time period that white people were inferior and that black people were superior. So why would depictions of him during his reign be white if that was the case? We have to think from a logical mind point and not based off of emotion and understand that this was a white man. In modern times, especially within the Afrocentric and Black Hebrew Israelite communities, there are images of King James that have been altered to show him as Black or of African descent. And these depictions are a part of a larger effort to reclaim historical figures and narratives that have been traditionally dominated by European centric viewpoints. Okay. And the intentions behind these representations is often to like connect these figures to a black heritage or to assert a stronger connection between African heritage and historical figures. But these modern portrayals are not historically accurate. And you can find that out with a quick Google search. So we're going back to the topic of the Black Hebrew Israelites using the King James Bible while preaching against white folks. The entire reason behind the creation of the King James Bible wasn't purely religious either. King James was very political, okay? And he wanted a version of the Bible that would solidify his authority and break away from the Catholic Church's influence while uniting England under a single religious text. So the Bible wasn't an act of pure, this specific Bible was an act of pure divine revelation or to preserve the original manuscript for the Black community. It was a part of a larger political project to control and manipulate religious powers in the kingdom. And another crazy historical fact, too, is a lot of people, specifically the Black Hebrew Israelites, want you to believe the King James Bible was the first English Bible. Well, other than the fact that King James himself did not translate the Bible, the King James Bible is not the first English Bible. The first English translation of the Bible was created by William Tyndale, and he translated the Hebrew and Greek text to English in 1525. And the King James Version wasn't translated until 1611. Yet, we have a lot of Black people proclaiming the truth of the King James Bible and quoting it like it's a divine document from the heavens, when it's nothing more than a white man's book who commissioned it and put their name on the front and took the credit even though they did not do a damn thing. Crazy, right? Well, subscribe more if you want some more interesting debunking theories. Or I'm not even going to say theories. Everything that I am saying can be fact checked, can be read about, can be Googled. You can ask ChatGPT. You can do whatever you need to do to verify the sources of what I am saying. But subscribe for more. Bye.